You like fireworks? Last night, plenty of oohs and ahs. To the wall! Gone! Looking up, gone! Coughlin! Gabby goes deep. Gone! That ball's a rocket. Get deep out of here. Twice tonight, his name is Dan Ugla. Tonight, the Marlins are counting on Nate Robertson to keep the good times rolling. The lefty tries to make it 3 in a row against New York. Marlins, Mets, mwah! Who will be blowing kisses after tonight is done? On a Super Saturday at Sun Life Stadium, Marlins and Mets. It's Game 3. The Fish have had 2 terrific starts. And then last night, the muscles came out. Uggs hit 2. Coughlin went deep. Gabby went deep. Hanley wants to get in on some of the action. Nate Robertson gets the ball as the Fish take on the Mets. Hi, everybody. Rich Walsh along with Tommy Hunt. First 2 games of this series have been impressive for the Marlins. Terrific start by Josh Johnson. Anibal Sanchez followed up last night. And, oh, yeah, the Fish had a lot of home runs.
Well, you get some nice, solid starting pitching. You get the long ball the way the Marlins got last night, and you can win some games. The Marlins trying to do tonight what they haven't done all year. They've not been able to put together 3 wins in a row. Remember, Nate Robertson pitched a pretty good game against the Mets early in the year.
Significant last night. The 2 of the home runs came out of the number 1 spot and the number 2 spot with Coughlin and Gabby Sanchez.
We've talked a lot, Rich, about how Freddie Gonzalez has tried to mix and match his bullpen. I think he's tried to work at the top of the lineup, and the way things are going over the last few games, the guys at the top of the order are starting to feel comfortable. Chris Coughlin on a 6-game hitting streak hit over 300 his last 17 games. Gabby Sanchez, I think this is a good spot for him. He went deep last night, and you look at the rookie rankings, you're going to see Gabby Sanchez's name in just about every category. He's hitting .283. That was his 4th home run of the season. So right now, Freddie feels pretty comfortable with those 2 guys at the top of the order.
And here they are, the number 1 and 2 hitters. And if you're waiting for the Marlins offense to really roll, if Coughlin can keep it going, and if Gabby can keep it going, then all of a sudden the Marlins are set up nicely.
Hey, those 2 guys continue to get on base. That just sets the stage for Hanley Ramirez, Jorge Cantu, Dan Ugla, Cody Ross, and the rest.
All right, let's set the stage for the pitchers tonight. And the Marlins saw this starter for the Mets. The Mets saw this starter, as you alluded to. It was Robertson who pitched the 3rd game. The Marlins won that game in New York. John Maine pitched the 2nd game, and the Marlins won that one.
Yeah, the Marlins were able to win that game. Maine in his career is 5-2 with an ERA not too bad in his career against the Marlins. Nate Robertson, not a lot of history against the Mets, but he did, as Rich said, pitch that good game at Citi Field in New York, the first series of the year.
All right, ready for this? You ready for the Mets? You ready for the Marlins? How about a little more Dan Ugla when we get back? Jeff Kodine, Craig Minervini. Take a look at the Marlins' powerful second baseman. I mean, powerful. Marlins and Mets, Sun Life Stadium. Good weather tonight. We're counting on it. We're counting on a terrific game as well. And to start things, Craig Minervini, Jeff Conine. Gentlemen.
All right, thank you, Rich. The Marlins did make a move here before the game. It's been a busy week of travel for Brian Peterson. He's back up. He was sent down Thursday, was getting ready to play, and he's right back here arriving today because John Baker went on the DL with a right flexor muscle strain.
Yeah, he had some trouble with this problem in the spring training, missed a significant amount of time. I think it's been bothering him a little bit since the start of the season, and he's trying to battle through it, but as you see, last night they put him on the DL.
Peterson, a lefty bat. Brett Hayes was already called up before this series, and he will catch for the first time for the Marlins in his major league career, his major league debut as a starting player. He has had about over 10 at-bats, and he had a home run last year in Washington. Speaking of home runs, the Marlins hit 4 of them last night. None were more impressive than the 2 hit by Dan Uggla. 10th career 2-homer game for Uggla, who was hit for average. He's knocking runs. He's doing everything he expected and more, I think, this year.
Yeah, you know, last year he was really disappointed in his average and what he was hitting. I think in the second half last year he finally let go of the average thing and really ended up having a pretty good power year, pretty good production year. This year he's been outstanding with average. He's been outstanding with the RBI situation. You see him there on the all-time home run list, 9 above me. I mean,
further
that's
putting you,
yeah,
you know,
I'm getting stuff down there.
But you're still on the page. A lot of times guys on the truck will only put the top 5 Niner, but here
they're trying to make me feel good. They're trying to put me on the page.
Out of tremendous respect, they're still going 6 deep.
I like that. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
All right, so Danny Uggla, he's only about 14 away from your other pal, Mikey Lowell, so you might want to get him on the phone and say, watch out, Mikey.
Like he is, he'll be off the charts there. I'll be off the bottom.
We'll see. Well, we're always going 6 deep. All right, coming up, it's Game 3 of this 4-game series. Marlins, Mets, Nate Robertson, the lefty, against John Maine, coming up.
Baseball on Fox Sports Florida is brought to you by Checkers, Little Place, Big Taste by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. And by Toyota, moving forward. Sun Life Stadium, come on inside. We're waiting for you on a Super Saturday, Mets and Marlins. Let's meet the Mets, greet the Mets. They're 18-18, these Mets. Look at this. Little flip-flop. Jose Reyes is no longer in the 3 spot. Luis Castillo hits second. Angel Pagan goes from the leadoff spot into Reyes' spot, 3rd in the order, with Jason Bay right behind him. David Wright, Ike Davis, Jeff Francoeur. Rod Barajas has yet to go off in this series. He came in red hot. John Maine will pitch and hit 9th.
Yeah, after 20 games, that number 3 spot, Jerry Manuel made the decision to get Reyes back at the top. You know, the key for Nate Robertson, and we saw it in his first start of the year. That was back on April 8th at Citi Field against the Mets. He went 5 innings, gave up just 6 hits and a run. In that game, no walks, and that's always the key for him. get ahead, utilize that fastball, change speeds a little bit, and then his breaking ball can take over.
Well, we'll see what the flip-flop does for the Mets. If it jumpstarts an offense that has struggled, and especially on the road it has struggled. Reyes shortens the bunt, takes a strike. That would be Jeff Kellogg calling balls and strikes tonight. Reyes, a real rugged start. Of course, the leg injuries, the hamstring injuries last year, thyroid issues in spring training. And the energetic shortstop who is used to being an all-star, used to being the focal point at the top of the Mets order, still trying to find his stride in 2010.
Rich, here is exactly why the Mets need Reyes to get going. When he scores a run, go back to 2005, when Jose Reyes scores a run, the Mets are a 700 ball club. Their winning percentage is a little over 700.
Little dribbler, going to have to hurry with Reyes' speed, and he does and gets the out. Big night for the man behind the plate. Here's the defense.
We've seen some good defense in this series. Coghlan, Maven, and Cody Ross in the outfield. Jorge Cantu back at third base with Gabby over at first. And we get a chance to see Brett Hayes, who's been in some Major League games, but first time as a catcher starting tonight.
This got to be a special night for Hayes out of the University of Nevada, Reno. Here is Luis Castillo. Despite the flip-flop with Reyes and Pagan, the Mets still have a unique first three hitters. They're all switch hitters. So they all stand from this side of the plate against Robertson. Nate misses outside. Castillo has had success against Robertson. Look at the numbers. 8 of 23. He hooks a ground ball to Hanley. Nate Robertson, Tommy, in his last start, the win in Chicago, pounded the strike zone early and often.
Yeah, and I think you can see right there the changeup. He had Louis reaching a little bit, rolled over for that ground ball. There are the numbers for Nate Robertson against the Cubs in his last outing, a 4-2 win at Wrigley Field.
Robertson faces Angel Pagan now. As Tommy alluded to, Robertson beat the Mets back on April 8th. He went 5 innings in that ball game. And he had beaten them earlier in his career, quite a bit earlier in his career. Back in 2004, Robertson faced the Mets. And then it wasn't again until early this year. Pagan off the end of the bat strokes it into center field. Angel Pagan with a 2-out single. It's going to bring Jason Bay up.
Well, Pagan switching places with Jose Reyes. He'd been leading off when Reyes was put in the number 3 spot, so now Pagan gets in that number 3 spot.
And the Mets obviously are waiting for Beltran to get back. Carlos Beltran still rehabbing from the knee injury. In the meantime, Jason Bay, David Wright, Mets are hoping that they can catch fire. Bay has actually hit in 8 straight, but the home runs and the RBIs really haven't followed.
I think you can see when Nate Robertson gets in a nice groove, he works quickly, doesn't like to waste too much time.
Ground ball third, Cantu. Short throw, Gabby Sanchez. Nicely done. That's not a short hop. That one popped up right at him. Chris Coghlan leads it off in left field. He and Gabby Sanchez both went deep last night. Hanley Ramirez at short. Cantu is back in the lineup. Ugla's back in the 5 spot. He hit 2 bombs last night. Cody Ross in right. Cameron Maben had a couple of hits and an RBI. He's in the lineup. Brett Hayes actually has homered in his major league career, albeit a brief one last year as a pinch hitter. Nate Robertson will hit 9th.
No, we talked about John Maine, the 29-year-old who has pitched fairly well against the Marlins in his career. Actually, his career high in strikeouts, 14 back in September of 07 against the Fish. Fastballs, he likes to ride it up, a little sneaky at times. Sliders, changeup.
He misses up to Coghlan.
He's actually, Rich, coming off a couple of pretty good outings. He's 0-1, but Maine has pitched good ball games against the Reds and the Nationals. 6 innings in each of those starts, giving up just a couple of runs.
And remember, Tommy, when we saw him in Game 2 of the season, he had come off an awful spring training. 16 innings in the spring. He gave up 14 runs. And that continued in his first 3 starts. In his first 3 starts this year, he gave up 15 runs. But as you noted, his last few times out, all good. It's all good for Chris Coghlan. He's on his way down to first. A 4-pitch walk to open things against John Maine.
Well, good way to start. You have to make him throw strikes now. We've talked about this Mets defensively. Pretty good ball club. They play good defense. We've seen it in this series. Bay and Pagan and Francoeur. David Wright has been spectacular in this series. Reyes has made some nice plays. Castillo and Ike Davis and Rod Barajas behind the plate.
Barajas a solid catcher. Coghlan away from first. Maine to the plate. Now Maine does take some time to unfold, so he's not quick to the plate, but he has yet to throw a strike. He's missed on all 5 pitches. And he misses again, and it's 2-0. Tommy, at this point, if he's missed on all 6, if you're Gabby, is it one spot, one pitch you're looking for?
No, I think you have to take one. I don't think you look for one out over the plate. You know you're going to get a fastball. There's no question there. But I think you have to make him throw a strike at this point.
His 12th career start against the Fish. 5-2, an ERA of about 3.5. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Up and in. Okay, John Maine does not have the feel for it.
Well, you set the stage, too, because in that game in New York against Maine, Hanley Ramirez and Jorge Cantu took him deep. And right now, he's all over the place.
That is ball 4. And that was a changeup, Tommy. Either that or a batting practice fastball that came in at 83 miles an hour. And he's going to get a visit from his pitching coach, Dan Wortham. Maine last year pitched through shoulder issues. In fact, he ended up missing 3 months of the season with what they term shoulder weakness.
That kind of shoulder and rotator issues.
Well, second game of the season, you talked about Maine facing the Marlins. You talked about Hanley Ramirez.
Fastball out over the plate. Hanley took him the other way. And that's a good poke at Citi Field.
So here's Hanley. And those are his career numbers. 3 homers and 26 at-bats. Maine has yet to throw a strike.
He's trying different pitches, too. So obviously he doesn't have a feel for his fastball, and he's trying to change up a breaking ball, and he still can't find the strike zone, and Hanley still needs to take a pitch. You don't want to help him out in this inning.
Two 2-0.
Hanley had some good at-bats last night. I thought it was 2 for 4 and swung the bat well.
It's not often you see a major league starter miss with his first 10 pitches. make it 11.
Wow. Yeah, the Mets have already announced before the game Oliver Perez, who started last night and really struggled, they've taken him out of the rotation. And Maine right now cannot throw a strike.
That's down low. Hanley has walked. 12 pitches, 12 balls, bases loaded. Here comes Cantu. Well, you saw Hanley's home run against Maine, and in that same ball game in early April at Citi Field, Jorge Cantu also got a hold of one. Jorge stands in now, and let's see how Maine fares. Pitch number 13. That's a batting practice fastball for a strike. And here was Cantu's at bat in early April.
Got the high fastball and got it out quickly. Jorge Cantu now with 7 home runs, 29 RBIs on the year.
That's outside.
That home run at Citi Field was just the beginning of a tremendous month of April for Cantu.
It's not been a great month of May for Jorge Cantu, but his numbers are still healthy. 29 RBIs and 7 homers. And the night off last night. Cantu line drive at Reyes. Safe at second. Mets thought they would have a double play. Gabby got in just under the gun, and Maine gets a break.
Well, you hate to see Maine get out of this thing without a lot of damage. And no fault of Jorge Cantu. He absolutely crushes this ball. If that gets over Reyes' head, at least a couple of runs score. And I think Gabby may have been out. He did not slide. He caught a break from the second base umpire, Angel Campos.
Yeah, that should have been a double play. Now Ugla, who homered twice last night, and Maine misses outside.
So far, he's not gotten anything over but a fastball.
Both of Ugla's homers came against Oliver Perez. A 3-run shot in the third, a solo shot in the fourth. That's up. And now it's 2-0. Coughlin walked on 4 pitches. Sanchez walked on 4 pitches. Hanley walked on 4 pitches. Cantu hit a line drive, and Reyes hit short. And now Ugla's sitting on a 2-0. That's down low. It's 3-0.
Not much Jerry Manuel can do.
He's already sent his pitching coach out once. There's a strike. It's 3-1. Now if you're Ugla, 1 spot, 1 pitch.
You know, even this 3-0 pitch was borderline.
Got jammed on a fastball right over for a look.
This is an inning. I'll tell you right now, they can set the stage for this whole game. If somehow John Maine and the Mets get out of this, it's a huge momentum swing for the Mets. If the Marlins can bury him and at least get a couple of runs in this inning with the wildness that he's had, that sets a different tone.
Well, he's thrown fastballs for strikes to Ugla. He has thrown a couple breaking balls, but he's missed with those. Ooh, check swing. Ball in on his hands.
Yeah, checked it on ball 4. But again, a fastball. I mean, I'd be really surprised if he threw anything other than a fastball.
So would Dan Ugla.
Yes.
fastball. Uggla went after a high pitch.
Another ball. So right now, Dan Uggla's helping out John Maine.
Cody Ross is on deck. Maine has thrown 22 pitches, 6 of them strikes, but 2 of those strikes were actually balls that were fouled off by Uggla. He lost them, and the Marlins have their run. And that takes a little pressure off the fact that the Fish do get at least 1 out of this.
And now, as they say, you want to go for the jugular and add on 2 or 3 more.
Cody Ross stands in with the bases loaded. 3 of those grand slams came last year. Oh, and he had a good pitch to hit. It's 0-1. Ross is not lighting the world on fire right now, but he's not struggling. He's driving the ball. He's just not red hot. Gabby's at third, Hanley's at second, Uggla's at first. 0-1 coming.
He still hasn't thrown many strikes. The Marlins have helped him out. And that's the problem sometimes when you know a pitcher's just throwing strikes and you get yourself geared for the fastball. You can't lay off one that's borderline.
Well, Maine finds himself in an 0-2 count now. And he throws a fastball. 91 miles an hour. You could see, Tommy, that's his fastball. That tops out 91, 92. Throughout this ordeal, his fastball's been coming in at 88, 89 because he's been trying to guide it, and he just didn't have the feel for it.
Yeah, that might have been his best fastball this entire inning.
Still 0-2. Barajas through the sequence. Another live fastball at 91. Cody has seen nothing but fastballs.
John Maine had that terrific year in 07. He was 15-10. A lot of injuries since then, and since that time he's gone just 18-16.
Came up in the Baltimore organization, came to the Mets in the Chris Benson deal. It was a 6th-round pick out of the University of North Carolina, Charlotte. It's up. It's 2-2. Throwing yet, but a lot of guys scurrying around.
A lot of guys starting to get loose
and stretch.
Well, he's closing in. Randy Neiman, the bullpen coach, taking the call. He's closing in on 30 pitches.
Cody fouls it back.
Another good pitch to hit.
Good fastball.
That's the amazing thing. If you track Maine's career, we talked about the numbers, wins and losses. He has been a guy that's been hard to hit. Opposing batting averages have been very low against John Maine.
This year, especially in his first 3 starts, he was hit hard. He's given up 8 home runs this year. touch for an off-speed pitch.
So 3-2. Again, you know you're going to get that fastball. This is where you have to be patient. You don't want to chase one. Remember, Dan Udlow chased a couple that were out of the zone before he drew his walk.
Full count to Cody. Now give Ross credit. He's fighting off some good fastballs. Give Maine a little credit. He's throwing some pretty good fastballs.
Wait, Jerry Manuel has the lefty F. Valdez, who pitched 2 2/3 innings last night, albeit very successfully.
That's infield, back for 2. 3-2 coming. Got him.
I'm telling you, if John Maine gets out of this inning giving up just the 1 run, it'll be a miracle. And the Mets will have a little momentum. They'll feel good about it. You can't let a guy off the hook when he can't throw strikes.
Toyota pitch tracks. And ball was out of the zone.
Now you have to hope for a 2-out base hit. And that's tough to do. Cameron Maben has gotten some big hits, had some good swings last night. Had an RBI single in the 3rd inning.
Fastball for a strike. With 2 outs and runners in scoring position, the Marlins down there with the Giants. Breaking ball from Maine, a little slider, and misses outside. It's 1-1. Look at that. Maven looks at strike 2.
Cameron thought that ball was low, but I think Fox Tracks will tell you it caught the lower part of the strike zone.
That's up, and it counts 2-2.
The pitch, and we've seen Maine have success with it in this inning. The pitch that he's always had success with is that riding fastball up in the strike zone. It has some late life to it.
Let's see what he throws. 2-2. Ground ball to the middle, base hit, center field. Gabby scores. Here comes Hanley, and the Marlins get the 2-out hit. Cameron Maben saves the inning for the Fish.
Oh, he does. That is huge. We always talk about the excitement when Mets fans are here. That takes a little bit of their excitement out of this game. If they see their club hold the Marlins to just the 1 run, all of a sudden it's a different story. Big base hit for Cameron Maben. 2 RBIs. That's great to see.
So Brett Hayes comes up with runners at first and second and 2 outs. Hayes not making his major league debut. He did that last year. He filled a variety of roles: pinch hitter, pinch runner, played some first base. But he never caught last year, which was pretty curious when we went back and looked at his season. He did have a pinch hit home run at Washington.
Yeah, his only home run was in a pinch hitting role. Hit that home run off Victor Garate in Washington.
Oh-2. And Maine strikes out Hayes, but the Marlins get 3, 4 walks, and a 2-out single by Maben. spot in line. Just look at that ballpark down there right now. Every day, a little bit closer to 2012 opening day. 1877 Marlins, the number to call. Now that is, how cool is that?
Nothing like a hot tub in Morocco to get kids excited. The new site, you can see the seating arrangement now. All of a sudden, that looks awesome.
The lower bowl is almost in, and they're. I think last time we talked to David Sampson, I have brought in some actual seats to line up just to look and see what they would look like and where they would be. David Wright takes outside. Now, Nate Robertson worked a pretty neat and tidy first inning, but he had to sit around and watch while John Maine struggled and made a mess of the strike zone. And so Robertson's job is to come back and restore order. David Wright was sitting on that fastball, and he absolutely crushes it to center field. His third. Wow.
Well, you fall behind when you don't have overpowering stuff, and Nate Robertson can get hurt. And certainly, Mets fans happy to see the power from David Wright. That's his 8th home run of the year. Hard to imagine he hit just 10 last year. Straightaway center field. This ball was crushed.
That's about a 440-foot home run, at least. Ike Davis takes a breaking ball up. Davis and Francoeur will follow.
Early on in his young career, Ike Davis has handled left-handers pretty well.
If you're a guy like Ike Davis and you're breaking into the major leagues and you're doing it in New York, would you rather do it on a really good team or a team where a lot of things are going wrong and not much is expected of that ball club? Drive to right center field. That ball's hit deep. Cody's back. That's off the wall. And Davis is going to stop with a double.
That's why the Marlins will look back at that first inning, even though they got 3 runs, they could have been really greedy and gotten a lot more. Yeah, Ike Davis had a game the other day, had a couple of home runs off Jonathan Sanchez, the tough lefty of the Giants. To answer your question, I think if you're on that really good team that's in contention, then not a lot is expected of you because you probably have other veteran guys that are doing their job, and you can kind of fit in, and sometimes it's a little easier to do that. But you'll stand out as he has on this Mets team,
right? With the way he's hit. Oh, absolutely. Here's Francoeur, who is 0 for 7 in this series and has really scuffled since mid-April. Robertson gets a strike, and now a foul ball, and now an 0-2 count. You can see his month of May has not been a good one. And Robertson elevates the fastball and strikes out Francoeur.
That's good. I don't think a lot of hitters, especially a guy like Francoeur, who's a very free swinger, is expecting that high fastball. That's pitching to the hitter's weakness, not necessarily to your strength. Nate Robertson's not going to get away with a lot of high fastballs, but with 2 strikes on Francoeur, that's a good pitch.
Now Barajas, if you make a mistake to Barajas, he could tie this game up. There's a strike. Talked about his heroics this year. It's just 29 games. He's got 9 home runs. I was a little surprised to see him hitting 8th coming into this series with the struggles that the Mets have had, you think maybe they'd want to throw him up in the 4 or 5 spot just for a game or two.
Well, all of a sudden, Jason Bay is starting to come around. Not so much with the power, but Bay starting to get some base hits. Really, the only guy you might flip-flop him with would be Frank Coor with his struggles. Nice try with that fastball to try to paint the inside corner.
Remember, the man behind the plate, Brett Hayes, is making his first major league start as a catcher. First major league start, period. Soft liner into right field. Ross is charging. They're going to send the runner. Here comes Cody's throw on a hop. Hayes the tag. They got him.
Well, you knew exactly why Chip Hale, the third base coach, sent the runner Ike Davis, who does not have good speed. He sent him because John Main's the pitcher coming up. They forgot about one thing. Cody Ross charged that ball beautifully. Got off a throw that wasn't the most accurate, but got rid of it in a hurry. Watch Brett Hayes. Picks it, turns, and just gets a piece of Ike Davis. Good call by Jeff Kellogg, the home plate umpire. There it is. Just got him on the backside.
What a thrill for a rookie catcher making his first big league start behind the plate.
You know, think about a play like that. You really don't have time to think about it. You might be nervous when you step in there.
Maben glides after that one off the bat of Maine. Mets get a run on a mammoth homer by David Wright. But the Marlins with some nice defense and a nice sweep tag.
Port St. Lucie, where he's rehabbing, and Jerry Manuel said that he's ready to start baseball activities, ready to start swinging. The biggest thing, though, for Beltran is being able to run pain-free, and I'm sure, though, it's nice just to have him around the club. He was out here earlier giving Chris Carter some batting tips before the game, guys.
Well, they sure could use him. He's such a great center fielder and a big part of their offense. Here's another look at that play at the plate.
Well, it all started with Cody getting a good jump because the ball wasn't hit that hard by Barajas. Ike Davis sees what's taking place, tries to elude the tag, and look at Brett Hayes, holds on to the ball and gets the tag right on his backside. That's nicely done.
And it's Nate Robertson who will lead it off. We'll see if John Maine has figured out how to throw strikes. Maine walked 4 in the first inning. The Marlins had just 1 hit and scored 3 runs. Robertson's one hit a double this year. 0-2. Coughlin and Sanchez will follow. Maine still hasn't been able to throw his off-speed stuff for strikes. And if he's going to last at all in this game, he's going to have to figure out how to do that.
The amazing thing, 3 of the last 4 hitters he has started 0-2.
And at this pace, Jerry Manuel, even if Maine doesn't give up any runs here in the next 2 or 3 innings, he's going to have to go down to that bullpen because Maine is closing in on 50 pitches already.
And remember, Oliver Perez lasted just 3 1/3 innings last night.
Yeah, he really had to stretch the bullpen out. Chopper over the middle. Castillo. Such a great second baseman. Does not have the range that he once had, but still makes every play that he can get to.
We've talked about this often when Louis and Alex Gonzalez were the Marlins double play combination. One of the most enjoyable things was to watch them early during batting practice, making plays, turning double plays without even looking, throwing flip plays behind the back. They put on an exhibition. It was fun to watch.
Maine trots out a changeup to Coughlin. It's 0-1. John Maine missed with his first 12 pitches of the game. The hardest ball the Marlins hit at the first was the line drive by Cantu. And the Marlins actually got a break because on the replay it looked like Gabby Sanchez was doubled up at second base. That would have changed the whole inning. The Marlins, if you wanted to piece it back together, probably would have had just 1 run. And who knows what it would have done for Maine's confidence at that point. That's in. Two and two. Castillo again. Just got it.
All of a sudden now his changeup is a pitch that he has a little more command of.
Gabby Sanchez, our Toyota trend. Toyota moving forward. 4 home runs last night. All time, the Marlins 34-8 in games with 4+ homers. I suspect if you run that through just about every major league team, they hit 4 long balls.
You have to do what the Blue Jays did the other night. They had 3 3-run homers. That 16-10 win.
Those 2 teams played again this afternoon. And Ricky Romero threw a 5-hit shutout at Texas. 6-0 Blue Jays. Jose Bautista has hit 9 homers. He hit 2 today.
There was a terrific pitching matchup this afternoon. The Houston Astros in San Francisco. Roy Oswalt and Tim Lincecum. And the Giants won that game 2-1. Lincecum with the win.
Brian Wilson saved that ball game for the Giants. Gabby gulps it into left field. He has such a compact swing, Tommy, that he's really able to adjust in the strike zone or even out of the strike zone.
He stays on the ball. Look at his head. He stays on the ball extremely well. Not too often do you see him chase badly a pitch that's out of the strike zone. And by getting on base, he's walked, he's singled tonight. His on-base percentage now right around 370.
Hanley hasn't seen a strike yet. He has seen 5 fastballs miss.
Right now, John Main's at 57 pitches. I wouldn't be surprised if at 2-0, because he's missed so badly with fastballs, if he tried a changeup to Hanley.
He threw a couple good changeups to Coghlan. And he just got Hanley to pop up on one. A 2-0 changeup against Hanley Ramirez. The Marlins leave a runner out there. It's 3-1. Peanuts. Jose Reyes takes outside. It's 3-1 ball game. John Main has struggled mildly. Nate Robertson gave up a tape measure shot to David Wright. This is the top of the Mets order, which tonight has got Jose Reyes in the leadoff spot. Castillo and Pagan will follow.
Hey, road games is where the Mets have really struggled. They have the fewest road wins of any major league team.
Great bunt, no chance, don't throw it. Ross picks it up, fires to second, and he's in there.
You called it. It's a guy that has great speed. It's in no man's land, and you don't have a chance at first base. Just let him stay at first base, and you risk throwing it away, which is what happened to Nate Robertson. So it'll be a one single for Jose Reyes, and getting to second base on the error by Nate Robertson.
The Marlins defense has not been good this year. The defense by the pitchers has been absolutely awful.
That, I believe, is the 7th error alone just from the pitching staff.
Absolutely. 7 errors by pitchers. This is game 37. Castillo figures he may drop one down.
Well, he's got a couple of options. It's early enough in the game. He may be just trying to move Reyes over to third. always been a much more aggressive side of the plate for Luis Castillo.
And Louis has never been a power hitter, but you're right, the home runs have come from this side of the plate.
Yeah, look at that. He's only hit 2 from the left side. You could watch Louis take batting practice as a right-handed hitter, and he get a home run after home run.
Pulls the ground ball. Cantu, Reyes is running, and he's going to get there. So Reyes advances. Cantu was so far off the bag, he really had to go to first.
And if you check him too much, Luis Castillo beats it out with his speed. So early in the game, get the out. Jorge Cantu did everything he could.
Replay Fueled by Gatorade returns with an all-new season. High school teammates reunite 11 years later in Hockeytown. Follow the journey of Catholic Central versus Trenton. ReplayTheSeries.com.
I think late in the game, real close game, if you're Jorge Cantu, you may check a couple of times and then try to bait Jose Reyes. But early in the game, go ahead and you check him, which he did, and then you get the out. Just good base running by Reyes.
Now a ground ball will score that run. Robertson dangerously has been falling behind numerous hitters 2-0. And it's 2-1.
Three straight batters now, Rich. Nate has fallen behind 2-0.
The Phillies are absolutely wrecking Miller Park. They had the big win last night, and they win today 10-6.
Yeah, they won 9-5 last night. Jamie Moyer, Howard Ibanez, and Utley hit home runs last night. Who homered today?
Victorino.
I wonder if they stayed with the retro blue jerseys and uniform. Probably not. That's usually just for one game.
Yeah, the Milwaukee has those throwback Friday nights.
Yeah.
3-2. Well, now Jason Bay comes up.
The baseball is a funny game. I think in a basketball game and a football game, you can see momentum shifts, and it's easier to spot. But right now, momentum's on the Mets side. The Marlins had a chance to blow out John Maine in the first inning. They couldn't do it, and Wright's home run got them a little closer. Now they have a chance here in this inning, and Nate is struggling. The young catcher, Brett Hayes, trying to calm down the veteran. They had a talk and spent about 20-30 minutes today in the video room looking at some of Nate's games and trying to go over their game plan.
Bay says, hey, 1-0, I'm taking a rip. It was on a 2-0 pitch that David Wright blasted one out to center.
And you mean blasted.
It's a high strike. You saw the reaction from Bay.
Well, he had Bay leaning a little bit. Borderline, high, maybe inside. Right there.
One and two. Valdo Jimenez gets a win today. He's 7-1 now.
Wow.
Rockies beat the Nationals.
They got that day-night doubleheader at Coors Field.
Robertson nearly threw that one away. And Reyes is thinking to himself, you know, I saw that highlight the other night of Cody Ross stealing home. soft liner into right field. It's a base hit. Runner going to third, and he'll get there. A bunt hit, a throwing error, a walk, and a soft base hit. And you're right, the momentum of this game is squarely with the Mets, even though they're down a run.
Right now, the Mets are outplaying the Marlins. Good base running by Reyes, good base running by Pregame, a little stutter step around second, and a good piece of hitting by Jason Bay to pick up that RBI.
Well, here's Wright, who put one in orbit.
See, now the Met fans are into this game. Marlins could have sent him out of the game in that first inning. They weren't able to.
0-1.
So settle in. Buckle up that seatbelt.
That one's hit well to left. Coughlin goes back as Theron makes the catch. Tagging and scoring is Pagan. And the Mets have come back to tie it at 3.
Taking him long to do it. Nate Robertson right now just doesn't have the command that he needs to have success.
As much as John Maine has struggled, and he's thrown 59 pitches in 2 innings of work, Robertson is over 50 pitches now at 51. Runner goes, huge jump.
Marlins caught a break right there because Jason Bay was on the move. Base hit, by the way, gives Bay a 9-game hitting streak now.
Is that the case where as a left-handed hitter, you can't really see that unfolding in front of you?
I think a combination of that being a young hitter also.
Runner goes, another big jump. Hayes' throw is offline. I'm really surprised that Robertson didn't go over to first.
Yeah, and let him get another big jump. Tough pitch for Hayes to throw on, and Bay would have beaten it anyway.
Sweeping breaking ball, it's 2-2.
First 2 games of this series, the Mets had 3 runs and 8 hits. They have 3 runs and 6 hits already in this one.
Struck him out, but the Mets get 2 more back, and they have pulled even with the pitch.
those great slow motion shots for Fox Vision. And the way it works, it's kind of cool because a normal HD camera records 60 frames per second. This shoots 400, so that's why you're able to get those really neat super slow motion shots that are great for replays, and you see guys sliding into the dirt there, also providing some entertainment for our crew this afternoon.
Yeah, I mean, heck, we've been exploiting the vicious squirrel running through Coors Field for the past 2 years in Exmo, now Fox Vision. And so we expect plenty of odd things throughout the season.
Odd and interesting things. This is an important inning, I think, for the Marlins. They can mount a little something against Maine and get back in this game. Right now, the momentum is on the Mets side.
Yeah, Maine has new life. Cantu.
Good start.
Similar to the ball that he hit in the first. When Maine walked the first 3 hitters, Cantu hit a searing liner to Reyes, who nearly doubled up Gabby Sanchez at second. So Georgie's had 2 good at-bats tonight.
Yeah, a couple of nice swings, brings his hands in a little bit, and then shoots it past Reyes.
Second time through for everybody against Maine.
Jorge Cantu, Rich, now a 400 hitter in his career against John Maine, 8 for 20.
Hugla is just a tick under 300 against Maine. Middle of the Marlins lineup does not run a whole lot. Cantu, Ugla.
Dan Ugla's not the kind of hitter you're going to put a hit and run on with either. We talk about having a good combination of hitter and runner for a hit and run. This is not.
No swing. Maine's 1-2. A little breaking ball, and it's a foul ball. Series finishes tomorrow, and the Marlins have got Ricky Nolasco going against lefty Jonathan Neese. First pitch is at 1:10. We hit the air at 12:30 with Marlins Live.
Yeah, the Marlins beat the left-hander 3-1 on April 8th.
Well, Ugla took a strike at the knees and on the outside part. After this series, the Diamondbacks arrive for a very brief 2-game series, a night game followed by a day game. The Subway Monday ticket offer for $5 bullpen box seats is on Tuesday. Pick up the Miami Herald in the morning for the 2 for Tuesday coupon. And call 1-877-MARLINS or visit marlins.com. Edwin Jackson is scheduled to start against Chris Volstad on Monday. Josh Johnson starts the Tuesday afternoon game, but the Diamondbacks have not announced a pitcher yet.
And Rich, as we established last night, it'll be a afternoon email Tuesday on the Tuesday game.
That's right. It's a high pop, long run for Bay and Reyes.
If I were a fan, that's the kind of foul ball I'd want. That two-hopper in the bullpen and a nice soft, You know, a nice soft catch. I don't want one of those screaming line drives. I'm getting out of the way of that one.
Ball and a strike to Cody Ross. Francoeur. The Marlins are not having very good at-bats against Maine.
They have not had patient at-bats. We talked about it at the very beginning of the game. That's what you have to do. I think the first inning, because he walked 4, it really wasn't because the Marlins were patient. It was because he couldn't come close to the strike zone. But since that time, they've not had patient at-bats, and they've chased a lot of pitches that have been borderline or out of the zone.
Now Maben, he had a big hit in the first. A 2-run single. Pulls the ground ball in the left field. That's a base hit. We're starting to see the stroke that Maben had in September of last year, that short, compact swing.
Well, you know what? Also, early in the year, remember, early in the year, he had a 9-game hitting streak. So back-to-back 2-hit games now for Cameron Maben, and that's a good sign.
Now it's Brett Hayes, who struck out in the first.
I think if you just joined us, if you did not hear on Marlins Live with Brett Hayes joining the club, John Baker going on the disabled list with that forearm and elbow strain, I think we could see there was something wrong with John Baker.
Yeah, the one thing in talking to Freddie and the Marlins staff, a tip of the cap for Baker trying to play through the pain. And I think everybody agreed, and Baker himself said that he's seeing the ball great. It's just that with that right arm, that lead arm on the swing.
It affected the hitting, yeah.
Yeah, he just couldn't get the bat out the way his body or his brain was telling him to. He couldn't react. The arm just wouldn't respond.
So hopefully a couple of weeks rest, and that forearm will feel a lot better.
Yeah, the Marlins need his bat. Left-handed stick. Two and two.
You know, it's amazing. 4 of the first 5 hitters, Maine walked. He's not had a 3-ball count since that time. He's gotten a little help from Marlin hitters.
He struck Hayes out in the first. Counts full 3-2. Now the pitcher is on deck. Foul back. Hayes grew up in Southern California. He was born in Pasadena. Then off to Sherman Oaks. Played his college ball at Nevada, where he was a 3-time All-WAC selection as a catcher. Cantu and Maben a head start. And Hayes goes after a pitch that was up and in. And it was ball 4 until he swung through it. 3-3.
catching. Now, I talked to Tim Cousins, who happens to be here with the ball club. Tim is here once a month. He's the catching coordinator. He'll go through all the minor league systems and then catch up with the big league club and spend a few days, usually in some routine things or some drills that he likes to work on with the catchers. So I asked him about, and Brad, he said, look, this guy, number one, good defender, probably an average arm, maybe slightly better than average, very good communicator, and he really commands the position behind the plate. It's a good job of giving the signals out with authority and confidence, and that's very important for a catcher as Cody drifts to right field and deep to make the catch on that play. The other thing about Hayes talking to him, he said, hey, I just met Nate Robertson in the outfield a couple of days ago. He seemed like a nice guy. And one other point that Freddie Gonzalez made about John Baker that you guys alluded to a bit is his toughness, and that you have to read players, and sometimes you got to have the ultimate call. And when you put the two together, a little lack of production and the injury, Freddie and the Marlins had to take it upon themselves really to say, hey, let's DL this, let's get you better and get you back. One good thing, though, guys, he said, you don't want guys going on out of the lineup because of a hangnail. He said John Baker's as tough as anybody.
Bake did not want to come out of there, but I think even he agrees that 2 weeks off trying to get that elbow and that forearm back is the best course of action.
Yeah, we saw with the injury that John Baker has, and it bothered him in spring training. When he missed some time in spring training, we got a chance to see Brett Hayes, Brad Davis caught a lot of games. So that's one of the things that Freddie realized, too. He knows what kind of a catcher. Brett Hayes is not going to tear things up offensively, but a very solid guy behind the plate.
One of the Marlins' top prospects in the minor leagues is a catcher, the first-round pick from a couple of years ago, Kyle Skipworth. And up until this year, Skipworth offensively has been challenged, but he's having a very good year in Greensboro in the Sally League, the South Atlantic League. High pop.
And he's a young kid. He was drafted out of high school.
Yeah, Skipworth is hitting .277 with 7 homers and 20 RBIs, 8 doubles. So that's certainly good news for a 20-year-old Kyle Skipworth.
Left-handed hitting Kyle Skipworth.
Love those left-handed hitting catchers. AT&T trivia question. Flip the phone. Mets record for consecutive games pitched.
How about Jesse Orosco? Just a guess.
Got to be a middle relief or possibly a... I'm thinking middle relief.
Bob Apodaca.
Hanley takes care of it. And that's a nice 1-2-3 inning. 9 pitches by Nate Robertson. Much needed. Florida, when you need a car, truck, or van, look at that. Who are you going to call? 1-877-MAROONY. By Tobacco-Free Florida. Escape the addiction of tobacco. Be free. Visit FloridaQuitline.com. By AT&T. Find out what's possible with the nation's fastest 3G network, AT&T. Rethink possible. See, we have a piece of equipment that's worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. And all our crew can do with Fox Vision is get their toy airplanes out, get the water balloons out. But we appreciate the effort. Fun stuff. 3-3.
Did anybody think that John Maine would still be in this game here in the 4th inning?
Probably not John Maine.
I would suspect Jerry Manuel didn't think that.
No.
So actually, Maine doing a world of good for his pitching staff.
Oh, no kidding.
Remember, we saw Raul Valdez warming up in that 1st inning. He threw 2 1/3 innings last night. So this is helping out that bullpen immensely.
Robertson takes up, and it's 2-0. He is, however, at 81 pitches. So if the Marlins can prolong this inning and stretch him out even more, then Manuel would have to go to the bullpen. Either in the 5th or at the least the 6th inning.
Well, in his last start, 6 innings, he threw 114 pitches.
You know, the AT&T trivia question.
I would almost give Nate Robertson the take sign here, by the way, and let him take another pitch.
Here's a 3-1. Well, Nate apparently felt like he could hit it out of the ballpark on 3-1. You don't often see that. A guy that's wild and a pitcher at the plate in a 3-1 count. Because he knew he was going to lay off the borderline fastball.
You know, when you watch the hitter's approach, and you got to give some credit to John Maine. With Maine, it's easier to take that pitch that's off the plate than that borderline high fastball because he has that late life in that area to that fastball.
All right, you're going Bob Apodaca on the. I'm going to go Aaron Heilman.
No, I'm going to go Jesse Orozco.
Okay.
My first guess.
I'll go Heilman.
Turk Wendell.
He's the guy that used to chew licorice, brush his teeth between innings.
He flossed between innings. Used to do a hop, skip, and a jump over the foul line.
Yeah.
And had a rubber arm.
Coughlin with Robertson at first. And Maine is out in front. Coughlin walked and scored in the first, bounced out in the second.
Look at it however you want. Part of it might be a credit to Maine's stuff, but here's a guy who's thrown mostly fastballs. And the Marlins haven't had a whole lot of real good swings. Cameron Maben, best swings tonight, has a 2 for 2 night.
Cantu has hit the ball hard twice. But you're right, there's really been no mystery about Maine, except is it going to be a ball or a strike?
And again.
Pumps a fastball by Coughlin.
See, that's a fastball 90 miles an hour that he threw by Chris Coughlin.
Now Gabby, who has walked and singled. Gabby having quite a series. 6 for 9. Castillo, Reyes, Davis. 4-6-3. Gabby hit it on the button. John Maine is a survivor. a Super Saturday, the spirit of Mike. Did you see the spirit of Michael Jackson, guy who was here before the ball game?
He looks just like him.
Do we have that, guys, on with all that expensive footage of your toy helicopters and balloons breaking? Have you got the spirit of Michael Jackson down there?
Fox Motion will have the spirit of Michael Jackson.
There he is, look.
Moonwalking.
He's part of the Michael Jackson tribute laser spectacular tonight. Reyes takes a breaking ball for a strike. Let's see if Nate Robertson can continue what he started in the fourth, which was a little more consistency and rhythm than he had in the first 3 innings. Hanley. One down. Time for the Keep Your Edge Spotlight, brought to you by Just for Men Mustache and Beard. Cameron Maben drives in a couple of runs. He's got a couple of hits. Maben has given the Marlins the edge. You too can keep your edge with Just for Men Mustache and Beard. There he is, Keith Hernandez. Whenever we have
the Just for Men spot.
Absolutely. He's
They have to have a shot at Keith.
One of their spokesmodels. And of course, he's much like Master Thespian, he is an accomplished actor as well, appearing in his own episode of Seinfeld.
He was on Seinfeld. Good changeup.
Maben is out there and he makes the catch. So Robertson had a short pitch inning in the fourth. And he's only thrown 5 pitches and has 2 outs here in the fifth.
All of a sudden, he's retired 8 in a row, starting with that sacrifice fly that David Wright hit back in the 3rd inning.
Angel Pagan singled in the first, walked and scored in the third. Maben there. That's fun to watch. In full stride, though, he does seem to be limping a bit out there in center field. That's a 7-pitch inning. Brilliant.
Acting.
Ramirez batting gloves, courtesy of Fox Sports Florida. Tommy and I know those people real well. All kids can run the bases after the game in the Diamond Dash. 1-877 Marlins.
You and I have seen those gloves, and they're nice looking. You want to come out and get a pair of those.
I can just see you wearing those gloves while you're shoveling snow in your off-season retreat in Colorado. Here is Hanley, who takes a strike.
Could have used those gloves the other night in Chicago.
All right, the story of John Maine tonight has been a wild first inning. The Marlins got 3 runs. And then from that point on, with essentially just his fastball, he's been able to get the Marlins out the next 3 innings. Marlins have had base runners in every inning.
Still can't get that breaking ball over.
The one pitch he's been able to use as a secondary pitch is the changeup. He got Hanley on a 2-0 changeup.
Well, I bet you he's thrown 80% fastball. He got the slider over that time.
That could be trouble. Francoeur coming on. He won't get it. Hanley's digging for second. Francoeur overthrows him, and it goes all the way out of left field. Hanley's racing for third, and he'll stop there. My goodness.
With the kind of arm that Francoeur has, was a little surprised that Hanley took off for second base. He had the play in front of him. It's his decision all the way. Francoeur tried to uncork a hard throw, and he threw it all the way to the bullpen almost. Hanley gets a break on that slider.
I think he surprised Francoeur.
He surprised Francoeur, too, because his reputation is out there. Hanley never hesitated, and then picks up that ball right away. A pop-up slide made over to third with nobody out. He was held at third by Joe Espada, Marlins third base coach. So a double and an error to Francoeur.
Cantu has had good swings against Maine tonight. Oh, 1. Line to short. Singled sharply to left. And he lines that one in the gap. It's going to the wall. Hanley trots home. Cantu delivers his 30th RBI of the season. He's back, Tommy. I mean, he's had 3 really good swings tonight.
Absolutely, and that's great to see. Ethier and Casey McGee, the only 2 National League hitters with more RBIs, and Jorge Cantu's reached that 30 mark. Solid swing, and you're right, all 3 times he's hit the ball on the nose. It's our checkers double of the game.
Well, the Marlins got their first 3 runs in the first inning with the help of Maine. Let's see if they can get some runs for themselves here now.
And that double by Jorge Cantu got the Mets bullpen busy.
Pitch number 99 coming from Maine.
How about this number on Jorge Cantu with Hanley at third base and nobody out? Man on third, less than 2 out. Jorge Cantu is 8 out of 9 in getting that guy home.
I think a lot of that is because you think about the great RBI guys in the National League, Pujols, Adrian Gonzalez, Ethier right now. A lot of it for Cantu is he doesn't try to do too much.
Yeah, the really great RBI guys aren't necessarily 40 home run guys. They are occasionally an Adrian Gonzalez. But they're guys who put the bat on the ball, will hit the ball the other way. One of the best I ever saw was Tony Perez. He's not a guy who's going to hit 40 home runs a year, but drove in 90 or 100 every year.
3-1 coming.
Changeup.
Yep. and Uggla was sitting fastball. It counts 3-2. If he got the changeup on 3-1,
he's got two options, though. The other pitch that's been successful for him is that fastball that rides up, and after a changeup, that's a tough pitch.
And remember, the last at bat for Uggla, twice he got called strikes on the outside corner, the second of which was a called strike 3.
He went up with the fastball.
Uggla's had a lot of trouble laying off that pitch.
And you can see how he was late on that swing, and it was 89 miles an hour. It wasn't like it was a 95-mile-an-hour fastball, but after the changeup, that's a tough pitch.
Cantu's at second, a run across. The Marlins up 4-3. Uggla hooks it. Foul.
Got that small bat around and hit it hard. Dan Uggla uses a bat that's 33.5 inches, 30.5 ounces. That's a small bat. And he can whip it through that strike zone in a hurry. Change it.
Castillo. So Maine gets it out, and Uggla unable to advance the runner. Here's Cody Ross. That's one of the, people talk about the difference in eras and the advantage for hitters over the last 15, 20 years. It's one of the big differences is the way bats are made. Obviously, they're still made of wood, but the way they're cut and shaped.
A lot of thinner handles. Yeah, Jim Presley was telling me 1 year, Mike Easler, who was with the Yankees at the time, loaned him, gave him a couple of his bats, which were 35 inches, 33 ounces. He said sometimes as the year went on, you'd maybe go down a little bit in weight. But the guy to use a 33, 34-ounce bat, not that unusual back then. Highly unlikely now.
Even the big sluggers, like the light lumber. Cantu's still out there at second base. Cody shoots it into right field. Cantu around third. They're going to bring him. Francoeur's got a great arm. And he's offline. Cantu scores. Cody drives in the run. Jeff Francoeur has 5 outfield assists already this year, but he airmailed the throw at second on Hanley, and this one pulled Barajas off the plate.
Boy, a lot of good things happen on this base hit. Great hitting by Cody Ross to get it through the right side. Another poor throw by Francoeur. Aggressively at third, Joe Espada sending Jorge Cantu. And again, it's because you're getting a little bit down toward the end of the lineup. So Cantu scored. Big base hit by Cody Ross for Cody, RBI number 17 on the year.
One of our best emails the other night on an Email Tuesday was from a fan admiring Espada's work as a third base coach. That one gets by Barajas, and Cody moves up 90 feet. They called him a beast. They said, Joe Espada is a beast at third base, and he really is ultra aggressive, and it has been fun to watch.
I heard an argument, or a conversation, I guess a better way to put it, one day about sending runners. And there's a good percentage. If you send runners, there's fastball. He got him over there. I don't know what the percentage is, but it's a higher and a greater percentage that the runner's going to score, even on a questionable call. A lot of it, though, this is where Joe does a nice job. He puts in his time working on his craft as a third base coach. A lot of it is situation of the game, who the outfielders are, who's coming to bat. So you have to think about all those things. Will they walk the guy who's coming up next and pitch the pitcher? You have to think about a lot of that stuff, and he processes all that in a hurry.
This will be a fun at bat now for Maven. Cameron has a couple of hits. The infield is in. There's another run waiting 90 feet away. Maven drives it to center field. That'll get the job done. Pagan is back. Oh, what a nice at bat by Cameron Maven. He really, in the last couple of nights, Tommy, all of a sudden has sparked to life at the plate.
And what a nice inning by the Marlins, who finally have put together some nice at bats. A little bloop double by Hanley, a solid double by Jorge Cantu, a great bit of hitting by Cody Ross. 3 RBIs tonight for Cameron Maven. That ties a career high for him.
You could say it this way. In the first inning, the Marlins scored 3 runs largely because of John Maine. And here, they've scored 3 runs largely because of themselves.
So they've gotten it back to a 3-run lead. And keep in mind, a lot of that, now the momentum has shifted again. A lot of that has been because of the terrific pitching of Nate Robertson the last few weeks, too.
Hayes hits a fly ball to right. Frank Coor had a star-crossed inning out there. Makes the catch. Marlins put 3 on the board. Lead at 6-3. Security. A man with a maraca hit me. Let's check in with Craig Minervini. Craig?
Rich, you forgot Expos fans. Expos fans are here. John Matthew and Tyler are making a little trip around. Tell us, you're going all over the stadiums, huh?
Yeah, we started off this trip in Baltimore, and we went down to Turner Field in Atlanta, then down to Marlins, and probably tomorrow we're going to hit Tampa and then keep going on.
They did it last year, too. You guys always wear your Expos jerseys. Why is that, Tyler? And they're from Montreal, by the way.
That's it. From Montreal, Expos are always rooted deep in our hearts. We can never really take off the uniforms. My buddy here, he'll buy a jersey of the team that we're visiting just to show respect for the fans. But, you know, we're diehard Expos fans, beginning to end.
Now, they're also friends with Mike Kozak, who's the Marlins trainer's son. They play baseball with Derek. Now, you're going off to Tampa. Then what do you do after Tampa? You go to where?
After Tampa, we're going to go take it easy on baseball. I'll go to New Orleans for a couple of days.
Now, wait a minute. You could go see the AAA Zephyrs.
Oh, yeah.
You ever heard of that?
No, I haven't, actually.
It's the Marlins AAA team.
Okay, well, I had no idea. Get more baseball in, I think.
All right, so go there.
Absolutely.
Then you go to Houston?
Yeah.
And then out west?
Houston, then we're going to go to Arlington to see the Texas Rangers. And then, then out west, we're going to do a little bit of California, go up to Seattle. Then up north, they're going to finish off with the Twins.
and Cleveland.
They might need Bill Beck, our traveling secretary, to do the plans. Good stuff, and they also keep score. They're good baseball fans, and we all miss going to Montreal. We love that city, and always thought, guys, if there was a downtown stadium and the economics worked, that who knows, maybe somewhere down the line. But I know there's a lot of good baseball fans there. Huh?
Absolutely, absolutely. They would come back if it would come back to downtown. They would be there.
It's too bad, Rich and Tommy, they couldn't move that Toronto Philly series somehow over to Montreal. But I don't know if you guys get along with those Leafs over there and play that 3-game series still in Canada, but they're not going to do that. They're going to play in Philly. Back to you.
Craig, they got to be going crazy about the Habs.
Oh, the Habs. Actually, it's funny you mentioned that. This trip started not with baseball, with hockey.
That's
right?
Yeah,
Where?
Yeah, we went to Pittsburgh for Game 5. We ended up losing that game, but we watched Game 6 and 7 in a bar in Baltimore, and we can't be happier.
As my Canadian friend Marcel told me, guys, we sold the building out at the Bell Center for Game 7, and my team wasn't even there. They were in Pittsburgh, but they sold 20,000 seats to watch the game on their video screen in about 4 hours, and they won. Back to you.
I like that peel and eat shrimp at Fells Point in Baltimore and playoff hockey. Nice combination. An out here in the 6th. Nate Robertson cruised through the 4th and the 5th. He threw 16 pitches, and that's it in both innings combined.
Well, he had retired 9 in a row before that single by David Wright. Wright's had good at-bats against Nate tonight.
Robertson gave up a double to Ike Davis back in the 2nd and then struck him out in the 3rd. Chris LaRue in the Marlins bullpen. This has been kind of the jumping off point in most of Nate Robertson's starts.
Yeah, longest outing he's had this year was back in Philadelphia, 6 in the 3rd inning.
Gabby got a glove on it. Ugla shovels. That's a heck of a play. Sanchez and Ugla get Davis. Little Home Depot doing more on defense.
Well, it starts with Gabby making a great play to just get a glove on it. He didn't catch it cleanly, but I like the way he got back to first base because he saw where the ball was going. It was going out toward Dan Ugla. And Ugla reacted with the bare hand grab and flip.
There's the Fox Vision look.
Home Depot doing more on defense. That was great defense there.
And that's the end of the road for Nate Robertson. Chris LaRue's coming in to face Jeff Francoeur. Here's Arboruni. Called to the bullpen.
When you need a car, truck or van, who you gonna call?
Nate Robertson out.
Yeah, you can see what Freddie's thinking is. Just get this out. A little afraid of the big bat of Frank Coor against Nate. It'll be the third time he's matched up against him. So he wanted the harder throwing right-hander to go after Frank Coor.
Frank Coor 0 for 2. You brought up a point earlier in the telecast. We were talking about Hayes behind the plate. His first start in the big leagues behind the plate, having not worked with Nate Robertson. He got a chance to catch a lot of Marlins pitchers in spring training, and so that's a good thing. So he knows the strengths and the weaknesses. But he also has to get up to speed with guys in terms of what's been working for them.
It's probably a little different now than it was in spring training. Chris LaRue continues to gain confidence, and I think he got a lot of it, that big strikeout of Aramis Ramirez in Chicago the other night.
That one's going to be out of Cody's reach. He gets good sink on his fastball.
Yeah, he even mentioned after the game to Craig that that's probably his biggest strikeout of his young career to this point.
I think in talking to Randy St. Clair and Freddie about LaRue, one of the things they like about him and want him to do more of is be more aggressive with his stuff. They feel that his fastball, and with the movement and the sink that it's got on it, is good enough to get outs at the big leagues. He doesn't have to fool people. See?
Yeah, you have 95, you don't have to have tricks in the bag.
Just like that. Let's leave a runner. Out at the plates. First start in the big leagues. Welcome to the show, kid. 6-3, Marlins on top.
Well, remember, Chris LaRue came in to get that one out. Pitcher spot due up first. First things first, Henry Mejia, who we saw last night. Mejia came in and pitched the 8th inning, gave up a couple of hits, no runs. But he's going to face now a pinch hitter in Brian Peterson. And again, if you were not with us earlier, Brian Peterson recalled, really didn't even have a chance to get into a game in AAA, went back, came back up with the move being made, putting John Baker on the disabled list.
There's the move. I think having watched Peterson over a couple of weeks, You can see how difficult it is for a young player to come to the big leagues and play as a pinch hitter, defensive replacement, a bench player.
And you can see why, when you have players like that, you want them to be veterans.
And that's no knock against Peterson. I mean, you could take some of the top prospects in any organization, throw them in that role in the big leagues, and it would be a real challenge. Here's the 1-1. And he pops it up. Reyes is there, and he makes the catch. Hey, Craig, it wasn't an easy travel period.
No, it was crazy. His brother was due to go to New Orleans and did. And all of a sudden, Brian told him, hey, Drew, I'm going to the big leagues. You're coming with me. So he came over here. Thursday, he's going to the park. He rerouted his brother's travel to here. As he got to the park Thursday, when he came in, they told him he's being sent down. So then he told his brother, who just got to Miami, wait a minute, we're going back to New Orleans, which they did. He got there Friday. He dressed for the game, took batting practice. At 6:58, he looked up, and that's when he was told he's not playing. He's going back to South Florida. And him and his brother hopped on a flight this morning and are now here. So it's been crazy back and forth. And I think his brother's schedule change. He's going to leave in a couple of days now, but I'll get to see him for a few days. The other good thing is he's been enjoying it with his brother, too. Some extra time, but a lot of frequent flyer miles he didn't expect.
And the per diem's a lot better, so he can buy his brother dinner on more occasion now that he's in the big leagues rather than AAA. That one misses up high. Chris Coughlin here in the 6th with one out. Coughlin has walked, bounced out, struck out. It's a foul ball. The Mets bullpen in last night's ball game was outstanding. And after Oliver Perez in his rough 3 1/3 innings, yeah, Raul Valdez, Manny Acosta, Henry Mejia. They held the Marlins scoreless from the 5th inning on. See Sanchez getting ready.
Yeah, that group of bullpen struck out 8 as well. Boy, good change up there by Mejia. Yeah, the Marlins struck out 13 times last night. Oliver Perez in his 3 1/3 struck out 5. The area, Rich, that's still a concern with me about Chris Coughlin. The strikeouts are still too many. A couple tonight. He has 31 strikeouts on the year.
Gabby Sanchez has hit the ball hard twice and has walked. That one nearly broke the hand of Rob Barajas. That can't feel good as a catcher. And Gabby knows that too. He's asking. He's caught enough to know that feeling. Oh man, is he hot right now. Gabby drives it to the wall. Sanchez, 7 hits in this series.
I'll tell you what, after this series, Met fans are going to know a little bit about Gabby Sanchez. 10th double of the year. Came into the game leading National League rookies in doubles. He just adds to it here. Goes down with that fastball that's middle of the plate and just strokes it sharply into left center.
I don't know if it's going to be the number 2 spot in the order, but the more you see him near the top of the order, the more you like him near the top of the order.
Well, because he's doing what he did all through the minor leagues. It's a way to get on base. He's patient. He takes the walk. He'll drive the ball, get doubles. He's got 4 home runs already.
Hanley rolls one into center field. That's a base hit. Green light. Here comes Gabby. Here comes the throw. He's in there.
Yeah, that's a nice little bonus there after 2 quick outs. A 2-out double An RBI single, and the Marlins add on another run. That's nice. Hanley with a couple of hits tonight. Goes after the first pitch, stays right on it. And Gabby able to score without a slide. This is a spot where I think you could look for Hanley to steal a base.
Cantu has hit it hard 3 times tonight. RBI double in the 5th, singled in the 3rd. He lined out in the 1st. Oh, man. He's hit 4 bolts.
Yeah, that's good to see. Jorge Cantu on pitches the way he's been tonight.
Dan Moore then in to talk to Mejia with Ugla coming up. You know, we were talking earlier tonight about Dan Ugla, and if he stays on this pace, he's got a chance to make his 3rd All-Star team. Jorge Cantu, if he continues at his pace, if he gets into early and mid-June, he's got a chance to make his very first All-Star team.
You know, thinking about Hanley and maybe a stolen base, but he gingerly goes to second on that base hit of Jorge Cantu. Let's hope he's all right. The tough part about Jorge Cantu, and he has to live with this, is there's some terrific third basemen. And just in this division, you think about Zimmerman, David Wright, and the kind of year Polanco's having now with the Phillies.
I know.
That's what makes it tough.
He's got 30 runs driven in. He's hit 7 homers. Both Ugla and Cantu's case for an All-Star bid would be helped enormously if the Marlins get hot and stay hot in May and in June. Because as much as Freddie Gonzalez's Marlins fly under the radar, even in an 87-win season last year, if they start making some noise at the end of this month and into June, that would help anybody's candidacy in a Marlins uniform.
Well, the Marlins trying to go over 500. A win tonight would put them at 19 and 18. They're trying to go 5 out of 6 against the Mets this year, too.
Go back to last year, the Marlins were 11 and 7 against the Mets.
And they're trying for the first time this year to win 3 in a row.
So they've won 15 of their last 23 against New York. Our Geico quote of the night from Dan Ugla. We've been struggling early in the game scoring runs. It's definitely a lot more fun than waiting until the 6th or 7th inning to score. And that's alluding to his 2 homers last night that came in the 3rd and the 4th. Uggs looks lost at the plate tonight, though. He was called out on a fastball at the knees in the 3rd. He popped out on a changeup in the 5th.
It's funny how that can happen from game to game, especially the way he swung the bat last night. 10th career multi-homer game.
And he strikes out here. Marlins get a 2-out rally, a double by Gabby, and a single by Hamlin. Of fat men dancing. Tommy, does it get any better than that? I mean, look. The only way.
I never thought the manatees were so in sync until I saw them on Fox Vision.
The only way it could get better is if they did not have their shirts on. I'd like to see that in Fox Vision.
Not right after dinner, though.
No.
All of a sudden, you start to see roles kind of unfold. I'm not talking about the manatees. I'm talking about the bullpen. But we've talked about Clay Hensley, how Freddie really likes him now in the 8th inning. Well, Brian Sanchez starting to maybe get into that 7th inning role. Sanchez with a good inning last night, pitched a 9th inning. No trouble.
Rod Barajas, the pitcher spot, and then top of the order, Jose Reyes. Chris LaRue came in and struck out Jeff Francoeur and finished off the 6th. Nate Robertson, 5 2/3 innings, 7 hits and 3 runs. I know you've said it on a couple of occasions through the month of April and into early May that it really takes about 2 months for every manager in baseball to figure out how his bullpen sets up. Because even with a veteran bullpen, guys have off years. Some guys come on, some guys struggle. And you don't know until you get through some game situations who you can trust, who you have to take it easy on.
And that's hard to figure out in spring training. Spring training is mostly guys just getting their arms in shape as opposed to working in particular roles. We know what Chewy's role is.
We got to get Chewy, just like throw him in a pickup truck and run him through the car wash.
Yeah, Chewy got a little highlight there, though, on the dude.
No, don't do Fox Vision on Chewy. Oh, there it is. That's right. This was Fox Vision from earlier. You'd think they would have better things to do, Tommy, on a Saturday afternoon, getting ready for the big production. Carter sends that one towards the Mets bullpen.
Yeah, I always thought that our crew, and really, these guys work hard, guys and gals on our crew, they get here early, but I always thought there was a reason for them to get here early, that they had work to do.
Well, the toy helicopter flying around the infield, the four-wheel drive radio-controlled trucks speeding around the base paths.
This all, of course, will be expensed.
Of course. Ground ball in the left field. And a pinch hit for a guy that, see the bubbles?
That's the Lawrence Welk effect.
See, most TV production people get to work and go to work. Our production people stop at Toys R Us. That pinch hit by Chris Carter. And we told you the other night, he's a alum of De La Salle High School. Same high school as John Baker. Up in the air. Cameron Maven makes the catch. Reyes is 1 for 4 on the night. Fiesta Friday. The Marlins and the Phillies. The next one on May 28th. You get the 4 for 54 deal. All you can eat seats. Play Billy Bingo. 2,500 winners will get a Cody Ross bobblehead courtesy of Geico. 1-877 Marlins. Here's Castillo. Clay Hensley in the Marlins bullpen. And Sanchez has gone 3-0 to Castillo.
Luis Castillo certainly will take this. He might even take a 3-1 pitch. Won't have to. Yeah, he does. Certainly, this is the guy you want to go after. Luis Castillo is not going to hit a ball out. Yeah, but if you get to Pagan and then Bay and then Wright, all of a sudden you have the power hitters.
Louis Strokes winning the gap, right center field. Carter is headed for third. He's going to score easily. And Louis is going to leg out a triple. Those old legs have life in them yet. Castillo last year hit just 3 triples.
And that's his second already this year. So you lay in a fastball right there. Louis with a pretty good swing. Now you have to try to stop things right here.
Now the switch hitting Pagan. And Freddie is going to make the move. Clay Hensley has been the go-to guy in the middle. And he's going to him. Here's our Maroon. Called to the pen.
When you need a car, truck, or van, who you gonna call?
Saturday, 7-4. Marlins on top of the Mets. Our leaders of the game, presented by JM Lexus. There's no surprise that the Mets and the Rockies lead in triples with those ballparks. JM Lexus, price made us #1, 18 years in running. Click jmlexus.com, find out how. Here's Hensley now. Clay didn't pitch last night. He did get up and got warm and was ready to come in. But he said today that he's learning a little more about how to treat situations like that, not to get too overheated. He said he still hasn't had a day where he's come to the ballpark where his arm is really hanging. He gets Pagan with Louis at third, and he fires in a strike.
Yeah, he comes in and comes after hitters with a mixture of a good live fastball. You saw that 92. Curveball and an excellent changeup.
There's the breaking ball. Gabby has it, and he'll step on the bag. Nice job by Hensley. Mets get one back. Marlins still lead it by 3. Everybody up. 7th inning stretch. Oh, yeah. 7-4, Marlins on top of the Mets. On a Super Saturday at Sun Life Stadium. Game 3 of a 4-game series. Now, the Marlins have won the first 2 against the Mets. The nail-biter in Game 1, the J.J. Santana matchup, the Homer Fest last night, and tonight, a 7-4 lead going to the bottom of the 7th, and Manny Acosta makes a special guest appearance here.
As he did last night with a 1-2-3 7th inning, had a couple of strikeouts.
The Mets bullpen has actually been pretty good this year. The back of their bullpen has not been as overpowering. K-Rod hasn't been his dominant self this year.
Plus, they haven't given him a whole lot of opportunities either.
That's a good point. The hopper is up. Clay Hensley, who just got through pitching the 7th, is due up 4th this inning.
Yeah, obviously in a perfect world, Freddie didn't want to have to bring in Hensley in the 7th inning. Doesn't always work out that way for a manager, though, in a perfect world. Cody took such a big swing. The ball bounced up and caught him in the lower back.
Let's look at Hensley. Grew up near Houston. Sugar Land, Texas. Really didn't start pitching until he was 21. Three and two. I've got to ask him about this because I saw it the other day and I forgot to ask him today. He ran the hurdles in high school and played center field. He's only 5'8". So running the hurdles, you're thinking more Edwin Moses type guys. You know, tall, slender, Cameron Maben like. Cody got run up on that pitch. He had tossed the bat. He was taken off the elbow pad. But Acosta strikes him out.
Well, Acosta dropped in a pretty good breaking ball to lock up Cody. He thought it was outside. Maybe he was thinking, just maybe, Jeff Kellogg didn't see that.
Maben's had a good night. Cameron has driven in 3 runs, a single twice, a sacrifice fly. And what you like about his night, Tommy, is that situational hitting has been outstanding. He came up 2 out, bases loaded in the first, drilled a single to center.
When it looked like John Mayen actually might get out of that first inning. That was a huge base hit.
He singled also in the 3rd inning. Now in the 5th inning, he came to the plate. Runners at the corners, just needing to hit a ball in the air, and he did. Sacrifice fly. And he strokes another one to center field, but Pagan is there, makes the catch. Maben is locked in right now.
Yeah, he is.
There are 3 hitters that just about every time they put the bat on the ball tonight have hit it hard. Gabby Sanchez, who has 2 hits, Jorge Cantu, who has 3, and Maben.
It's nice, certainly for a hitting coach and for a manager, when you can mix and match. You know, if maybe one night Hanley's not locked in, Cantu is. If Uggla's not, Cody is. Somebody else isn't, Maben is.
Acosta floats a breaking ball in. Brett Hayes takes a strike, and it's 0-1. Brett Hayes drives one to left center field. That ball's hit deep. And off the wall it goes. Hayes to second. What do you do here? Do you pinch hit for Hensley? Or do you let Hensley hit?
I think we're going to see Hensley hit. Boy, this is good to see. He's done a nice job behind the plate, handling the staff tonight. And he gets himself his first base hit of the evening. And it's an extra base hit into left center field. So good for Brett Hayes. That'll just build his confidence as well.
Well, Hensley was a center fielder, as we talked about, in high school, and is a pretty good hitting pitcher. And as a starting pitcher in New Orleans last year, when the Marlins got a hold of him, he certainly got some at-bats down there. Though in the minor leagues, it's only when a National League team plays a National League team. If it's a American League affiliate that's involved in the game, then both teams use the DH.
And certainly at New Orleans last year, he got some people's attention with a nice 8-4 record in his 19 starts.
It's a little rusty. 1-2.
Oh, he's a competitor. There's no question about that. And he's had a range of emotions this year.
Yeah, it's been really tough. He lost his father about 2.5 weeks ago. And he strikes out. But Hensley can exact his revenge by going quickly through the Mets in the top of the 8th. We'll see if he does that when we get back. Our Coors Light Cold Hard Blast. Watch this home run by David Wright. It was a 2-0 pitch. He was sitting on a fastball. Watch where this hits. Off the wall above the batting cage. I mean, when it goes over the wall at that point, that's about 410, 415.
I mean, that was Mark McGwire territory when he'd hit him up on the tarps in straightaway center field.
Hensley now against Jason Bay. He's got Bay, Wright, and Davis. Bay an RBI single in the 3rd.
This is a key inning because these are the big hitters for the Mets. So this is almost like a save inning right here.
Oh, absolutely.
With the guys that Hensley's facing. Nice curveball.
If you're wondering how a guy like Clay Hensley ends up here after having success early in his career in San Diego. Another great breaking ball. 2006 with the Padres, pitched well. A 3.71 ERA. He was 11-12, 29 starts. Didn't get a lot of run support. Young pitcher. End of the year, a little discomfort in his shoulder. In 2007, he suffered a groin injury, came back from that, but the shoulder kept hurting him, and he tried to pitch through it. And when they got to the end of 2007, the Padres discovered he had a torn labrum and had been pitching the entire season with it.
Tough Texan.
And so he had the surgery, and Marlin fans know how difficult a road back it's been for Anibal Sanchez with the labrum surgery. And for Hensley, the road back has been just as difficult.
That's why it's been great the last couple of starts for Anibal. Seeing him throw 93, 94 miles an hour.
If you want to know why many in the Marlins organization root for Anibal Sanchez at a lot of different levels, check out the article by Tim Kirkjian today on ESPN.com. There's a soft liner in the left center field. Bay will try to stretch it for 2, and he's going to get there. Marlin fans know the story of Rich Donnelly and the chicken runs at midnight, and we've documented that. The Craig Counsell run. Well, Sanchez is connected because of his meeting with Donnelly of a couple of years ago, and Donnelly is involved in a big charity event that is coming up. And Tim Kirkjian today captured the emotions of not only Donnelly and the death of his daughter, but Sanchez and the death of his son very nicely. And Sanchez last night was outstanding. 7 innings, there are his numbers. 2 walks and 7 strikeouts. In that article, Sanchez specifically said he wanted to quit baseball after the death of his son, but in meeting Donnelly and seeing how Donnelly went on with his career, that is one of the things that prompted him to say, I am going to continue.
And then not too many better than Rich Donnelly, Jim Leland's third base coach, who we certainly remember in 1997.
Dan Meyer on the mound. Bay is doubled. Wright checks his swing.
Good fastball. That's where Clay wanted to put it. You want to tie up David Wright if you can. And he just missed inside.
Here's the changeup. And we talked about the pitch that he added when he was on rehab coming back from that shoulder injury. It really blossomed last year once the Marlins signed him and put him in New Orleans. Wright calls timeout.
You know, pitchers don't want to do it, but I think sometimes coming back from an injury, the best thing is to go pitch every 5 days in the minor leagues, work on things, build up strength. And in the case of Clay Hensley, it worked.
Now, here you've got Hensley and Brett Hayes.
I'm sure they worked a little bit at times in spring training.
And they may have worked last year in New Orleans. Hensley is, and it's interesting to watch him work day in and day out. He's extremely intense. That was a strike to Cody Ross, and it's a strike to David Wright.
Not at all what David Wright was expecting. And you talk about getting locked up. This curveball just freezes him, and it's middle of the plate, center cut. And Wright is fooled.
Here's Ike Davis now. Davis out of Arizona State. And of course, his father, a big leaguer, a reliever for the Yankees.
And his dad, 130 career saves. Most of those with Minnesota. Terrific setup, man, with the Yankees setting up Goose Gossage.
Hensley may have gotten a call there.
Went with that changeup and maybe or maybe not caught the outside corner, but according to Jeff Kellogg, I think he's had a pretty good game both ways. Let's see if that. No, didn't catch it. Caught a break. Take advantage of that break.
That one is off the radar then, that one. Now it's 3-2. Three-two coming. Hensley first started to pitch at Alvin Community College in Alvin, Texas, which I believe is the hometown of Nolan Ryan. Then went on to Lamar University. Back to the mound. Hensley got the out at first. He turned and froze the runner, Bay, but figured, you know what? 3-run lead, get the out at first.
Yeah, and this is what we talked about earlier. In a different game, different point in time in the game, you might want to chase that runner and maybe get him in a rundown. But you know what? It's the 8th inning. You have a 3-run lead. You need outs. So he checked the runner at second, Jason Bay. And it's a Bay's credit. He held his ground and then moved on to third on the throw to first. But get the out. Don't risk throwing it away.
Here's Frank Coor right now. Nice block by Hayes.
Good job.
And that's the reason he's here, is his catching skills. With John Baker on the disabled list.
Could give Ronnie Paulino a little breather every once in a while.
Probably get Paulino tomorrow. Hayes may start on Tuesday. That's a day game after the night game in the short series against Arizona.
Look at some of the guys the Marlins have had. Mike Redmond, Matt Trainer, guys who aren't going to tear it up offensively, but know how to call a game, know how to handle a pitcher.
I talked to Hayes about that in spring training, and Trainer's name came up. And we were talking about, I can remember when Trainer first got to the big leagues. And the reason he came up was because of his receiving skills.
Heck, Mike Redmond, they wanted to make a minor league coach. And all of a sudden, he got an opportunity. He's still playing.
And Trainer is with Texas, and we'll probably see Matt in a month when the Texas Rangers come to town in interleague play.
Especially if Saltalamacchia continues to have his throwing back to the mound problems.
Yeah. The Palm Beach native in AAA having issues. Now, he's had injury issues, I believe, with his shoulder. But right now, having some issues just getting the ball back to the pitcher. Frank Coor to left. Coughlin there. Makes the catch. Hensley works a scoreless 8th, 7-4 pitch. The hit was his line drive out in the 7th. Our Jaguar performer of the game. Here is Pedro Feliciano, a stylish lefty who is very good.
Yeah, he's very tough on left-handers, so tough assignment for Chris Coughlin, who stands in. Fastballs, curves, and sliders, but really tough to pick up for lefties. Because he throws from down there. Chris trying to continue a hit streak. A 6-game hit streak alive.
The Mets today announcing that Oliver Perez is getting bounced from the starting rotation. And on that note, Jerry Manuel came out and watched John Maine miss on his first 12 pitches of the night. The Marlins took a 3-0 lead. Mets would come back to tie it. The Marlins are up now 7-4.
Yeah, for the time being, Perez will go into the bullpen, and the Mets have not named who will replace him in the rotation.
Who does he replace in the bullpen? There's a lot of guys that are having decent years down there. Will they turn him into Carlos Zambrano? I don't know that Perez is the type of guy you want in the game
to come in and with his lack of control
and have to throw strikes in the 7th and 8th inning. I mean, I think the only role he is suited for in the bullpen is either a mop-up guy or a long guy.
And that's an expensive mop-up guy.
Yeah, well, he and now Zambrano has a role. He's the 8th inning guy for the Cubs, even though
he gave up 4 hits and 2 or 3 runs the other day.
Yeah, he got the loss yesterday against the Pirates. Hey, the Pirates own the Cubs.
Yeah,
they beat them again today.
Beat the Cubs again today.
I think the Pirates have won 7 in a row against the Cubs going back to last year. Arizona's beating Atlanta. Kelly Johnson's hit his 11th. Justin Upton his 6th.
A little satisfaction for Kelly Johnson to hit it against Atlanta. Huh?
In Atlanta, 7-1. That's in the 9th inning. Colorado and Washington are tied 3-3 in the 6th. Colorado beat Washington in the first game of the doubleheader. Dodgers and Padres are playing tonight. It's 1-1. Kevin Correa is starting that ball game for the Padres. If you follow the Marlins, you know that he and Clay Hensley are tight. Correa just lost his brother in a terrible accident in Southern California. His brother was hiking and fell off a cliff. And Correa was out of the rotation for a start, but is back in there and is starting. Backdoor breaking ball. Jeff Kellogg's been pretty consistent with that call all night.
Yeah, it's a tough pitch. Boy, you stand up there as a hitter, you think it's going to stay outside, and it might, but it might also catch that outside corner, and as box track shows us, that one did. You freeze on it because you think it's going to stay outside, and then by the time it makes that little break right over the outside part of the plate, it's too late.
Here's Hanley Ramirez. Hanley has 2 hits, his double, and has an RBI single. The Pittsburgh Pirates, with the win over the Cubs, improved their record to 16-20. The Cubs are now 15-22.
But you know what? They had 41,000 at Wrigley Field today. The party continues.
Hanley chops it over the middle and into center field, the base hit. A 3-hit night for Hanley. And up comes Cantu, who's had some of the best swings of the night.
Hanley's 2 of his hits up the middle, the other a little loop to right, so he's staying back on the ball well.
Our producer John Solser just reminded us how well Dan Uggla performed last night and how well Jorge Cantu has performed tonight, and they both got a day off. And so Tommy and I will not be here tomorrow because we want to have a strong game on Monday night.
Rich, I think you always perform well.
Yeah. Giants beat Houston 2-1. Tommy talked about Tim Lincecum beating Roy Oswalt. Lincecum walked 5, struck out 5. He's 5-0. Brian Wilson's 8th save. The Phillies beat Milwaukee 10-6. Cantu a line drive to right. Even his outs loud in this one. He's got 2 line drive outs as well as 3 hits. No! Leo Nunez in game 1 of this series came out of the bullpen. Remember, it didn't start out well. In a 1-1 nail biter, he had a runner at second and nobody out, and Tommy, he worked out of it, and his most impressive at-bat was against David Wright.
Well, Leo Nunez has been close to perfection, and as close as you're going to get. Hitters are just 5 for 50 against him. That's a 100 batting average. He's given up just the 1 run. That was on the Aaron Rowan home run.
With a 3-run cushion, he gives up a line shot to Rod Barajas. Into the corner goes Coghlan. Barajas around first. Coughlin's throw. He is out of there. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, that's huge. It all of a sudden looks like the Mets may get a little something going. Barajas, who does not run well at all, challenged the arm of Chris Coghlan. Chris has not had a great night at the plate. You know what? That does not affect him. He gets over and cuts it off. That's the key to that play. Cutting it off before it got to the wall. And makes a perfect one-hop throw. A strike to Dan Uggla. Fox Vision has it all the way.
That actually is called Uggla Vision.
I think Rod Barajas can beat Benji Molina, but not the throw of Chris Coghlan.
Do you think Rod Barajas will be upset now and voice his displeasure with us on his blog for showing him in super slow motion? Brian Barton's at the ballgame, by the way. He's at third base. Jorge Cantu has snuck over to first. Alex Cora, the former Hurricane. He takes up.
A former Hurricane was designated for assignment today. Pat Burrell, designated by Tampa Bay.
That's okay. He'll still be making $9 million this year. And I suspect someone will pick him up, though it will probably be an American League team. Because as ponderous as he is in left field, I think he's better suited in the American League, although he didn't seem to take to American League pitching all that well. Two. Another grad is with us, Allison Williams. Allison?
Guys, I was talking to Alex earlier. He said he had to leave about 30 tickets for his friends and family here tonight. Still has a place in Miami, down in Pinecrest, actually. Looks like he's going to fly out here.
That's okay. Go ahead.
In Pinecrest, and I asked him about this upcoming series in Puerto Rico, if he was looking forward to that, being from Puerto Rico. And he said actually it's going to be a little bit chaotic for him because he has so many friends and family already hitting him up for tickets for that series, a bit of a homecoming for him. And he still keeps in touch with his coach from Jim Morris. Actually thinks he'll probably meet up with him in Atlanta. The Mets go up there on Monday. He's there now as the Canes are taking on Georgia Tech, and they'll probably meet up Monday in Atlanta. He was Morris's first big leaguer.
That's a great story. Thanks, Allison. Reyes takes outside. Nunez trying to finish off the Mets. Jose Reyes moved to the leadoff spot in this one. A bunt base hit back in the third. Scored a run. And the count's 2-0. Now it's 3-0 to Reyes. As always, a festive atmosphere when the Mets and the Marlins meet here in South Florida. And you can bet it will be a festive atmosphere in San Juan, Puerto Rico.
It's going to be a festive atmosphere after this game tonight here on Super Saturday. Yeah, Puerto Rico is going to be fun. It's going to be a little different than that series the Marlins had, a couple series against the Expos.
A drive to right. Off the wall. Cody picks it up. Reyes, with his speed, is easily into second.
Not quite as sharp tonight. Leo Nunez falling behind. You mentioned he'd given up just 5 hits all year, and the Mets have 2 just in this inning.
How important is Coughlin throwing out Barajas at second?
It's huge.
Here is Castillo. Luis triple came against Brian Sanchez. Nate Robertson started, Chris LaRue, Sanchez, Hensley, and now Nunez.
Well, again, the Marlins trying to make it 3 in a row for the first time all year, and trying to make it 5 out of 6 against the Mets.
The Mets won't go easy. Ground ball. into center field. That's going to score a run. And now the tying run comes to the plate.
And you have the bigger hitters coming up, guys who can go deep. Good at bat by Luis Castillo. He's hit the ball well the last couple of times up.
Number 16 is in the finger,
Angel Pagan does a couple of home runs. Jonathan Neese, a lefty. Ricky Nolasco goes for win number 4 tomorrow.
Yeah, Jonathan Neese, not an overpowering lefty, but good stuff, keeps you off balance.
Ground ball foul.
And Ricky, over his career, does not have good numbers against the Mets. 3-6 with a 5.82 ERA in his career against New York. Pitched all right, though. Ricky pitched all right against the Mets back on April 7th. He got a no decision.
He pitched more than all right his last time out against the Cubs. 7 innings, 1 run. 0-1 coming to Angel Pagan. Ball and a strike. Chopper, Cantu, ball game. Marlins have taken the first 3 from the Mets for the first time in 2010. The Marlins have won 3 in a row. They do it tonight with the bats. They do it tonight with the bullpen. And they have a chance for a 4-game series sweep tomorrow. Marlins baseball on Fox Sports Florida, brought to you by Marooney. Hey, South Florida, when you need a car, truck, or van, who are you going to call? 1-877-Marooney. By Corona, kick back, relax with an ice cold Corona and lime. Enjoy a Corona today.